After Winnie finished writing, Jeffrey immediately pestered her and asked, "Did you write the new song for me on purpose?" "It had to be. Otherwise." Winnie lifted her eyes and looked at him. "Yes, you're right. I should have fallen in love suddenly with a big, bad guy like you." Jeffrey was instantly elated. He realized that she really knew how to talk tonight, especially to flatter him. "Winnie?" He held her little face gently, and his eyes were deeply affectionate. "Thank you for giving me a sense of security. In the future, I won't always be jealous and suspicious of you." He turned his head slightly and was about to kiss her when Winnie covered his mouth. "Stop. I'm really tired tonight. I sang and danced for 3 hours. Let me take a break." "All right, then I'll wait for you outside. You can slowly change your clothes." Jeffrey did not make things difficult for her. When he sat below the stage, he clearly saw how much sweat she had shed. Even her voice was a little hoarse near the end of the concert. His heart ached, but he could only support her in his heart. Walking out of the waiting room, Peril and Kendrick came over with Joshua shortly after. Peril smiled. "You young people are really romantic. Tell us how long you've been planning this. We actually didn't know anything about it." "I didn't know either. That was a sudden surprise given by Winnie." Jeffrey couldn't hide his cheery mood. "Not bad." Kendrick nodded his head in satisfaction. "This girl actually knows how to surprise people now. Since you two have decided on your future, it's only right to announce it to the public. Let others know that she has a family. She's actually a singer, and it's best if she sticks to her job and stays away from those scandals." Jeffrey was also very satisfied. This was also what he wanted. He did not mind their relationship being put under the spotlight, but the boyfriend had to be him. Joshua hummed in a strange tone. "Slowly, I like you, I like you, I like you." Jeffrey was speechless. Of course, he could tell that this was the song that he had sung wrongly on the stage, yet this kid had learned it so well. Kendrick gave Joshua a hard look. "Shut up. Your brother-in-law may not have sung very well, but his courage is commendable." Jeffrey was a little embarrassed. "All right, both of you, stop bantering." Peril glared at father and son. "I think that his singing was all right." It made Winnie's voice sound even better later on. The corner of Jeffrey's mouth twitched. He felt that he could not continue chatting anymore. Just then, Bob walked in. "Mr. Jeffrey, there are many reporters at the door who want to interview you and Winnie. You two—" "I'll go alone. Winnie's very tired today and is still changing her clothes." Jeffrey strode out. In such a short time, dozens of media outlets were present. When everyone saw him, they immediately picked up their cameras and snapped pictures. Bob stopped them. "Everyone, wait a moment. If you have any questions, please ask them one by one." Reporter A. "Mr. Jeffrey, may I ask when you two fell in love? Did you meet each other in school? How long have you been together?" Jeffrey. "Yes, she's my senior and I'm her junior. It was a school singing event and we fell in love at first sight. Then we decided to be together and it has been almost 2 years. Reporter B. "But last year there was a rumor about Ben and Winnie. The two of them were even spotted at the hotel." Jeffrey's sharp glaze swept over. "Watch your words. Did you see it with your own eyes under the bed?" Winnie also explained at that time. "Of course, I was also angry about that scandal. We had some quarrels, but we solved the misunderstandings later on. We got to know each other better and got back together. This time, we will never be separated again." "Did you get back together in Venice? Who took the initiative?" "Of course, both of us took the initiative. I led her on and she seduced me. Naturally, we got together." Bob, who was at the side, was completely shocked. He wanted to stop them, but he did not dare to approach them because of Jeffrey's aura. Reporter A. "When did you plan to get married? Have you proposed already?" Jeffrey. "I had. The two families will meet during the summer vacation to get engaged. We will get married during the winter vacation." Reporter B. "I see that you are 2 years younger than Winnie. There are very few people in the entertainment industry who get married at such a young age." Jeffrey. "I'm afraid that she'll be snatched away by others. After all, my woman's the embodiment of talent and beauty. Although I believe in myself and believe in her, homewreckers nowadays are too rampant." Reporter C. "Winnie's confession today was quite sudden. I saw that you were rather surprised when you were on stage. Didn't you know about it beforehand? Jeffrey. Of course. My little cutie gave me a surprise on purpose. It was so unexpected that it killed me on the inside. But what I want to say is that after waiting for so long, she's finally made our relationship public. All right, I've answered most of the questions that I should have answered. Please don't report any news about us breaking up in the future because that is impossible. Oh, by the way, if anyone dares to intrude on our relationship in the future, I will definitely not let him off. Also, nobody in the entertainment industry is allowed to bully my woman. After finishing speaking, he turned around and left in a cool manner. The reporters were all stunned by his back view. They had interviewed so many couples who had announced their relationships to the public officially, but they had never seen such a high-profile and arrogant one. However, no matter what, he answered a lot of questions. It had been a long time since they last got to report such a big piece of news. After the interview, Jeffrey went back to find Winnie. On the way back, he bumped into Aaron and April. Seeing him, April immediately widened her eyes and there was a fire burning bright in her eyes. Jeffrey? She strode over and was feeling really angry. Ever since she had acknowledged him as her younger brother, she had never felt so depressed and angry as now. You two are really too much. One is my younger brother and the other is my friend. You've been in love with each other and kept it from me until your child was born? Tell me, when did you two get together? Don't you dare fool me with a singing event and love at first sight. Only a gullible person would believe that. Were you two there? Jeffrey raised his eyebrows. Aaron gave a faint smile and said, Are you sure that you two fell in love at first sight? Of course, no. Jeffrey pursed his lips and said, We were in a love-hate relationship. Sis, I didn't mean to hide it from you. I didn't hide it from you on purpose, too. Otherwise, why would they know about it? You and Dad are the only ones who don't know. What do you mean? Do you think that we're not smart enough? April was so angry that she almost passed out. I believed in you two. I thought that you two would never. As she finished speaking, Jeffrey's delicate face suddenly turned cold. He took a step forward and said, Why wouldn't we? Aaron frowned and held April tightly in his arms, who was a little frightened. Pay attention to the way you talk to your sister. She's not completely wrong. You two are always fighting. You're always so mean to Winnie. Of course, I would think that you two are not compatible. April came back to her senses and said, Have you ever treated Winnie well in my presence? You can't understand my way of being nice. Jeffrey pursed his lips. Besides, Winnie hasn't been able to tell you about our relationship. Maybe she feels embarrassed. After all, she had jumped on me forcefully while she was drunk. April was dumbfounded. She could not believe that the gentle and soft Winnie would actually do that. She had to run away after sleeping with me, even giving birth to my illegitimate daughter. How could she tell you all that? Jeffrey sneered. Of course, maybe you don't know your best friend well enough. April frowned and asked, Was Winnie in a bad mood when she broke up with Ben? Otherwise, she wouldn't have done such a thing, especially when she hated you the most of that time. It's very possible. Aaron nodded and stroked his wife's hair. Her IQ had returned to the normal level. Jeffrey was not happy about her words. You're wrong. If she really hated me that much, she wouldn't have fallen in love with me. At that moment, Winnie changed her clothes and walked out with her parents. April walked up to her immediately, but she couldn't get angry at her good friend. However, she still said in a sarcastic tone, Winnie, you've been keeping me in the dark for so long. I told you anything and everything back then, but you kept everything from me. Do you still see me as your friend? April. Winnie was most afraid of seeing her right now. She felt very awkward and said, I'm sorry. She stepped forward and held her hand. Because it's too embarrassing. What's so embarrassing? Said April. I'm not an outsider. Besides, you must have suffered a lot when you were with him thanks to his difficult personality. Winnie was touched. No matter what, Jeffrey was April's younger brother, yet the woman was worried about her being at a disadvantage. April, I'm sorry. I won't hide anything from you from now on. Winnie hugged her. I was too stupid. I didn't realize it until now. April sighed. If I'd known earlier, I wouldn't have let Jeffrey bully you, let alone let you have a baby alone. She didn't know many things, but Winnie had left alone around the time she gave birth to Jenny. Jeffrey wasn't in a good mood and stayed in Rosewood City, which meant that something had happened between them. She had given birth before, so she knew better than anyone how hard it was. Aaron and Jeffrey frowned in dissatisfaction when they saw Winnie and April hugging each other. What now? Was the presence of them two unnecessary? Jeffrey pulled the two of them apart and hugged Winnie tightly. I'll take good care of Winnie from now on. You should mind your own business. April wanted to give him a good kick. Jeffrey, I'm warning you. Don't you dare to bully Winnie again. If I find out that you've done her wrong, I won't acknowledge that you're my younger brother. Please, I'm your biological brother, Jeffrey couldn't help but say. Besides, am I the only one who could possibly make mistakes between the two of us? What if she's in the wrong? April didn't answer him. Instead, she gave Aaron a look. Aaron immediately said seriously, Let me teach you a lesson. As long as there's a fight, it's always the man's fault. There's no difference between right and wrong. You have to remember that what a woman says is always right. Jeffrey was speechless. Beside them, Peril nodded. It seemed that his son's information was right after all. Jeffrey's brother-in-law indeed had no standing in the family. Winnie was stunned. April winked at her and whispered into her ear. My dumb Winnie, don't be too honest. Men are meant to be bullied. If you let him have his way too much, he'll be blindly arrogant. She felt that Jeffrey was a little too similar to Aaron in some ways. Winnie blinked. She realized that she still had a lot to learn about the path of love and marriage. What are you two talking about? How many times do I have to tell you, don't get so close? Jeffrey pulled them apart again. Aaron was annoyed. Be nicer to my wife. Clearly, Winnie got close to her first. Do you think I'm blind? Aren't you blind? April stood aside and sighed. After her brother had gotten a girlfriend, as the sister, she had indeed become as valueless as grass to him. At this moment, she finally understood Sylvia's feelings somewhat. Of course, she was self-aware enough to know that she had never been considered a treasure in Jeffrey's heart before. By the way, who's taking care of Ginny since all of you are outside tonight? Your mom and dad, answered Peril. April was speechless. Slightly past midnight, April and Aaron drove over to pick up Melissa and her husband, who were waiting downstairs. Kenneth was still in an excited state. After getting into the car, he started nagging April. April, I was really shocked today. Your mom dragged me directly to Winnie's house. As soon as we entered, she told me that the pretty little girl was our granddaughter. It's unbelievable. How did Winnie become your little brother's girlfriend? I don't understand. Dad, I understand how you feel. April patted the back of his hand to calm him down. I felt the same today. Kenneth continued. To be honest, I'm quite worried about that girl, Winnie. She's young, beautiful, gentle, and sensible. As for your younger brother, he may be capable, but he's still too young. I'm worried that he's not mature enough. No, I really feel that our family owes Winnie too much. She's such a good daughter-in-law. We need to settle the marriage as soon as possible. I've just talked to Winnie's father upstairs. We'll have dinner together tomorrow night and officiate the engagement of the two children. Dad, I support the idea, April agreed. Mom, what do you think? I really don't know what good deeds your brother's done in his past life, Melissa said. Although we only met briefly, Winnie's parents are clearly intellectuals. They come from good, compatible backgrounds, unlike your dad and I who suffered a lot back then, as we weren't from similar backgrounds. Kenneth fell silent immediately, but he had to admit that Melissa had a point. The marriage didn't just involve two people, it involved two families. After returning to the villa, April took a shower then went to bed. When Aaron was about to join her on the bed after a shower, she threw a pillow at him and said, You sleep on the floor. What have I done wrong? Aaron felt wronged. As they came back late today, Little Apple had already gone to bed. He had planned to show off his skills in bed and enjoy himself to the maximum. But now he couldn't even join her on the bed. He felt depressed. You knew about it, but you didn't tell me earlier. You made me look like a fool. Tell me, how many times have you secretly laughed at me thinking that I'm stupid? April poked him in the chest hard. A married couple should be honest with each other. Have you forgotten all the vows that you made on our wedding day? Aaron opened his mouth, but April interrupted him and spoke again. Don't tell me you hinted at me. You were just enjoying the show. So, to punish you, you'll be sleeping on the sofa tonight. Babe, you're simply being unreasonable, Aaron complained, dissatisfied. I told you before that I had a secret, and you were the one who said that you didn't want to know. You were trying to trick me into having a second child back then, April snickered. Oh, right. You suddenly wanted very much to have a girl back then. Was it because you already knew that Jeffrey had a child at that time, so you were envious? Aaron blinked, averting his gaze. I didn't. He felt that maybe he liked April, who wasn't that smart back then. The more I think about it, the angrier I get. She's my niece, but I didn't know about it. It isn't enough for you to sleep on the sofa for only one night. Stay there for 2 nights, April said angrily. It'll be 3 nights if you continue arguing with me. Okay, I'll sleep on the sofa. Aaron thought for a while, then nodded. Downstairs, Little Apple turned over in a drowsy state, then muttered, Gwen, it's so noisy. Good boy, you're dreaming. The nanny covered his ears, complaining internally that her Sir and April were really going too far nowadays. Not only were they affecting her sleep, but also influenced their son negatively. Winnie was too tired these few days. Once she got home, she went to bed and immediately fell into a deep sleep. When she woke up the next day, she looked at social media. Her relationship with Jeffrey still topped the list of hot news. Then she saw the video of Jeffrey's interview as well. She did not even know when he had accepted an interview. After she opened the video, she couldn't even be bothered to complain anymore. It just so happened that Jeffrey entered not long after that. She directly threw her phone at him for him to see. Who allowed you to accept an interview alone? Look at what you've said. Love at first sight? Who would actually fall in love with you at first sight? Have you forgotten how you treated me in the past? Also, you said that you approached me in Venice and that I seduced you. When have I ever seduced you? You've always been the one picking on me. She didn't want to say anything about the trivial matter, but someone commented that it was just like a romantic love story on campus, and that they wanted to have a similar relationship too. Just look at what the fans were saying. Was her love story really such a fairy tale? She had not forgotten how hard her life had been at that time. She had even cried a few times, angered by him. Oh, you're talking about the interview? Jeffrey casually picked up the phone. After taking a look, he returned it to her. Surely, I can't tell them about... Winnie's face turned red from anger. She forcefully sat straight up and glared at him. That's not the first time we met, right? It's the first time. Jeffrey moved forward. He pressed his hand on the bed, his body slowly leaning toward her. His tone was ambiguous and the corners of his mouth curved slightly. Winnie was really angered by his shameless smile. She pounced on him and hammered him with her fist, using all her strength. Jeffrey smiled and hugged her. You're kicking up a fit because you can't win the argument with words. Also, when we were in Venice, did you really not seduce me at all? In the movie theater, although I did force you verbally, you didn't object either. I wouldn't have succeeded otherwise. Winnie's face was so red that she couldn't hold it in anymore. She covered his mouth with all her strength. Shut up! Don't you say anything anymore! He really was too bad. He clearly knew that she had feelings for him at that time. She bit her lip, braced herself, and said, That's right. Those things were all consensual. No one could force anyone else to do so, but I didn't seduce you either. I swear, I really didn't. Jeffrey moved her hand away, his eyes filled with affection. Do you even need to seduce me? You're so pretty, every inch of you. Every time you show up in a gown, you're effectively seducing me. They looked at each other. Suddenly, her phone rang. The screen of the phone on the bed clearly flashed the word Ben. Jeffrey's eyelids twitched. Winnie was startled and said, I'll hang up. Hang up? What for? Maybe he's here to wish us well. Answer it. Jeffrey took the initiative to accept the call and even put it on speaker mode.
Winnie!
Ben's voice rang out from the phone.
I saw the news about you this morning.
Winnie stole a glance at Jeffrey. Seeing that he had no intention to speak, she said, I'm sorry. When I opened it this morning, I saw that you made the headlines too because of us.
It's okay. That's normal.
Ben's tone was very quiet.
I'm calling just to wish you good luck and happiness.
Winnie was stunned for a few seconds before she nodded and said, Thank you. I wish you happiness too.
Do I still deserve happiness?
The person on the other end of the line smiled bitterly. You will. You definitely will. I have something to do. I'm hanging up now. Winnie was afraid that he would bring up what happened that night. It was on speakerphone also, so it wouldn't be good if Jeffrey heard it.
Not bad. You hung up beautifully.
Jeffrey was extremely satisfied. In his opinion, Ben was just using the excuse of wishing her well to beg for her sympathy. Winnie hung up just in time. Hurry up and get up, brush your teeth, and eat breakfast. If you starve my little darling, I'll feel bad. After breakfast, Winnie received many blessings from her friends in the industry. Some were from Jennifer, and some were from Leonard. Jennifer even directly tagged Jeffrey on her post. I had long known that someone was interested in our little Winnie, so I played the matchmaker's role and created opportunities for you guys. I still remember that someone promised to deliver the Best Actress Award of Venice to me personally. Don't forget it! Thus, a large number of fans flooded Jennifer's thread to praise her. They even gave her a new nickname of Best Actress Jen. In short, overnight, news about Winnie and Jeffrey swept across the front pages of all the major entertainment websites. Some people said that they were the most beautiful high school darlings, while others said that they were still young now and that they would break up sooner or later. However, this was no longer important. What was important was that the two of them had really made it public. That night, the family booked a meal at the Banyan Hall. It was a fine dining restaurant and had a quaint courtyard decoration style. When the two families met for the first time, Kendrick praised that the place they chose had a nice vibe. This place was booked by Jeffrey. Kenneth and Kendrick sat together. The two of them had become good friends as if they had known each other for years in such a short time. Jeffrey's very mature, Kendrick said. You guys taught this child very well. To be honest, at first, we were not very satisfied with him. After all, they brought the child home without any forewarning. I really had a bad impression of Winnie's boyfriend, but Jeffrey changed my opinion. Oh? Kenneth was a little stunned. Peril smiled and answered, On New Year's Day, he made breakfast for us. He made everything from scratch. After that, he cleaned up the place. He took care of preparing every dish for visiting friends and family. After that, he even washed the dishes, mopped the floor, and accompanied the guest. He even accompanied my hubby to the ceramic kiln factory to study. That's amazing, but it's also quite embarrassing. Originally, he should have been reunited with his family during the New Year's celebration. Don't worry, we'll let them go to your place this year. I actually feel that our Winnie was too lucky to have dated Jeffrey. This child is too good. Now, our family is full of praise for him. Everyone is saying that Winnie was indeed very blessed to have met Jeffrey. She also gave him a thumbs up. Jeffrey answered politely, Mom, Dad, don't say that. It's just what a child should do. Kenneth and Melissa were both stunned. April held her bowl and choked on the soup for a long time before she recovered. Jeffrey's right. Melissa could only swallow her bitterness silently. Forget it. I'll just treat this son as a waste. Winnie felt that it wasn't easy for Melissa and Kenneth, so she couldn't bear to sit quietly. Then Melissa and Kenneth raised their heads and looked at her expectantly. Winnie, it's time to call Mom and Dad. I just lost a son. Let me have a daughter. Winnie was really embarrassed, but when she heard Melissa's last sentence, she braced herself and called them Mom and Dad in front of everyone. Since you've acknowledged us as your parents, let's set the date at December 25th. It's a good date. I even found someone to check, and it's the best day of the year, Kenneth said. Jeffrey frowned. Wasn't this the day they broke up? Just as he was about to speak, Winnie pulled him back and whispered, It's pretty good. Isn't it good to turn bad memories into the best ones? Who says it's not good? Jeffrey poured her a glass of juice. I just feel that it's too late. Kenneth heard his voice from the side. He smiled and said,
"Do you mean that you want to have it earlier? But I've asked a fortune teller. There are earlier good dates, but none of them is as good as this. If you guys are really in a hurry to get married, I think you should get a marriage certificate in advance. After all, marriage is just a formality."
Winnie smiled awkwardly. "We're not in a hurry."
"We're indeed in a hurry,"
Jeffrey interrupted her, raised his eyebrows, and said,
"I can't wait to get married and start a family. Besides, not everyone believes in fortune telling."
Aaron chuckled.
"If you're in such a hurry, why don't you just get the marriage certificate tomorrow?" "Sure,"
Jeffrey nodded. Melissa, Kendrick, and Winnie were all dumbfounded. Winnie herself was stunned. They were just talking about the engagement, but how did they skip to getting married tomorrow? She needed a glass of wine to calm herself down. Kendrick coughed lightly.
"About that. I'm sorry. I didn't bring Winnie's documents."
Winnie heaved a sigh of relief and said, "Let's take it slowly. Moreover, we have to pick a good date for the wedding, such as—"
"Baby," Jeffrey interrupted her again. "It just so happens that the 7th of July is a good day. It's the best time to get a certificate. I can go and get the household register. Dad and Mom, what do you guys think?"
His eyes swept over the 4 parents who were still in a daze.
"It just so happens that everyone's here recently. We can go to view the new wedding house together. Get anything we need to be booked and bought too. There's no need for everyone to run around all the time."
"Oh, I guess that's fine." Melissa came back to her senses and nodded. She felt that she was used to braving big storms and waves, but this time she was also a little unsure. After all, this was the first time her son is going to get married. She was not completely prepared for the marriage customs.
"If you think so, then let's do it."
Kendrick nodded as well. After all, the 2 of them were already like this, so it did not matter if they got married early. "That's great. It seems that Winnie is going to be my sister-in-law soon." April smiled with mixed feelings. She raised her glass and said, "Let's give them a toast together. Let's wish them a lifetime of sweetness and happiness. Apple, you 2 grab your glass to give Aunt a toast." Apple was confused. Since when did he have an aunt? "She's your uncle's girlfriend, and she's going to be his wife soon," Melissa said. Little Apple looked at Winnie, then at Jenny, who was also confused. He scratched the back of his head and said, "Sister? Mama?" "Yes, she is your sister, and they're related by blood," April said with a smile. "Be good to your sister in the future, okay?" He was stunned for a few seconds, then nodded hard. After finishing the drink, Little Apple ran to Jenny. He held her hand and said, "My sister, come home with older brother." Everyone laughed, but Winnie still did not understand why she decided to bring up the marriage certificate. After dinner, everyone left. Before leaving, Melissa invited Pearl and her husband to visit their house the next day, and Pearl and her husband happily agreed. After returning home, Winnie pulled Jeffrey into the study room directly and stared at him in confusion. "Why did you say that you wanted to get a marriage certificate?"
"It was an impromptu decision. Did I scare you?"
Jeffrey's gaze was gentle.
"I felt that since I proposed during the new year, you have publicized our relationship. This shows that you've made up your mind. There's nothing wrong with getting married naturally like this. What do you think, or are you hesitating again?"
"I'm not." Winnie was slightly stunned and quickly shook her head. "It's just too sudden. I'm a little afraid."
"What are you afraid of?"
Jeffrey hugged her tightly.
"Are you afraid that I'm still too young and that life ahead is too long? That I might treat you badly?"
"A little," Winnie said honestly. After all, the 2 of them had broken up once before.
"I won't, I swear, Winnie. I'll love you for the rest of my life."
Winnie hugged him. Maybe she should trust him, give him a chance, and then maybe for the rest of her life. The next day, Winnie and her family went to Jeffrey's house as guests. After lunch, April invited Winnie and her family to her house for dinner. Winnie and Jeffrey thought it was unreasonable, but they could not turn down April's invitation, so they went over it as well. At 4 o'clock in the afternoon, Caitlin came over to see her grandson. She was a little surprised to see the lively scene in the house. "April, are there guests in the house?" "Mom, let me introduce you to them. They are Winnie's parents as well as Jeffrey's in-laws. They're going to get married this Christmas. This is Jeffrey and Winnie's daughter," April introduced her. Kendrick and Peril shook her hand. It took Caitlin a long time to react. She had seen Winnie before, but she did not understand why her child was already so grown up. "Melissa, congratulations!" She turned to Melissa and said, "You're luckier than me." She remembered that Jeffrey was only 22 years old and was about to get married. She thought about her daughter, who was 27 years old this year. At this crucial moment, Jack had disappeared. Everyone thought that she was doomed. Her daughter seemed to have suffered a great shock and turned into a different person. Now she also has a headache. "Don't say that." Melissa also knew about Sylvia and sighed. "How is she now?" "She spends every day at the police station and works day and night. She doesn't even look like a girl anymore." Melissa smiled bitterly. "She insisted on going to Interpol and personally investigating Jack's whereabouts. How can it be so easy to go to such a place? I'm also worried." "Time will wash everything away." Melissa did not know how to comfort her. "The more I talk, the more annoyed I get. I better go hug my little apple." Caitlin turned around and went to find her grandson. In the evening, April was going to cook dinner herself. Winnie went over to help. The chef could help too, but she and April had not talked to each other alone for a long time. So it was a rare opportunity. "Winnie, what do you like about Jeffrey?" April asked as she cut the vegetables. "Or is it just for the sake of the child?" "Do you think I'm that kind of person?" Winnie smiled. "I won't marry someone I don't like for the sake of the child. Jeffrey used to be quite annoying. But when he likes you, he'll treat you very well. Others won't be able to see that." April was silent. Maybe that was true. The realm of relationships was intriguing. Just like how Aaron treated her very well, but in the eyes of outsiders, he was a very arrogant and cold man. "Aaron is the same," Winnie said. "He'll always leave the best for you. When I lived with you in the past, every time I saw him, he was so mean. In fact, such a man can give his partner a sense of security. After all, if he was nice to everyone, it would be very problematic." April nodded. A moment later, she moved closer to him and whispered, "Have you forgotten that you two used to fight a lot?" "Actually, I know. He was trying to attract my attention." Winnie suddenly smiled. "Jeffrey is very childish." April was surprised. She did not expect that it would work that way. "Winnie, let me help you." At the door of the kitchen, Jeffrey saw her squatting on the ground and peeling potatoes, so he walked in immediately. "No, you—" "Listen to me. These potatoes are dirty. They're full of mud. Don't get your hands dirty." Jeffrey took the peeler from her hand. April lowered her head to look at herself and could not help but say, "It's dangerous for me to cut vegetables too. If I'm not careful, I'll cut my hands. I think you need to help me more." "Go help April. You're good at cutting, aren't you?" Winnie said softly. Jeffrey raised his head and glanced at April. "Her skin is so tough that no knife could cut her." April was speechless. Why was her skin so tough? She was a girl with tender skin, actually. She suddenly missed the old Jeffrey, who had once fought against Aaron for her. He was cold back then, but he would never say such harsh words. "How can you say that?" When he twisted his arm and said, "April is your sister. She's doing a lot more work than me today." Jeffrey did not think much of it. "It's okay. She usually cooks, so she won't cut herself. Aaron will be heartbroken if she cuts herself." April could not stand it anymore. "Winnie, can you take this man and get lost?" "If I get out of here, are you going to work in the kitchen alone?" Jeffrey pursed his lips.
Aaron won't help you. April sighed.
Winnie glared at Jeffrey. Aaron isn't a good cook, but he's very confident. If you ask him to cook for you, we'll have to say that he's a good cook even if his cooking is terrible.
That's what she's used to.
Jeffrey squatted down and scratched the potatoes.
At home, men have to learn how to cook. How can I ask her to cook for me? Usually, I only ask Winnie to cook porridge for me at home.
April suddenly felt like crying. She had made others jealous many times. She did not expect that she would be jealous of Sylvia and Jack, and now of her good friend and brother.
If you say one more word, you'll leave,
Winnie said in a low voice.
All right, I won't say another word. If you don't want to leave, you can sit here. I'll make you delicious food, and I'll make you fat and fair,
Jeffrey said in a low voice.
My sister's cooking isn't as good as mine.
April tightened her grip on the kitchen knife and said, Since you don't think my cooking's good, you can cook for me.
All right, then you can be my assistant. You can't let my wife do anything else,
Jeffrey said. All right, can I do everything myself? April took a deep breath. 20 minutes later, Jeffrey was cooking while April was scraping the ginger. Aaron came in to see her and asked,
Baby, are you tired?
I'm tired, April immediately said. Are you going to help me?
No, I'm just looking. Those kids are too noisy. I'm going to hide here for a while.
Aaron sighed and said. The people in the kitchen were all looking at him. Aaron was a little confused.
Don't worry about me. You can do what you need to do.
April was speechless. What was going on today? Her brother was going to stab her, and her hubby was going to stab her. Although she felt very happy, she still felt like she was being abused. As expected, there was no harm without comparison. At 6:30, Jeffrey poured the last dish into the plate, then turned to Winnie and said,
Winnie, it's been hard on you today. I'll take you to drink milk tea tonight, okay?
Okay. The silk stockings milk tea you brought me last time was quite delicious, Winnie agreed readily. Coincidentally, Aaron came in to serve the dishes. He heard their conversation and said,
What's so good about silk stockings milk tea? Does it have silk stockings in it?
Everyone was silent. Jeffrey frowned and looked at Aaron. Aaron rubbed his forehead.
Is the milk tea filtered through the silk stockings?
It was disgusting to think about. He really didn't understand the taste of young people.
Generation gap.
Jeffrey shook his head and left with Winnie. Aaron looked at April with confusion and said,
Am I wrong?
Old man, April said, and walked out. Aaron frowned and pulled her back, patting her butt and saying,
Who's old? Speak properly.
You don't even know about the silk stockings and milk tea. If you're not an old man, then what are you? You're so outdated. April looked up at the sky and sighed. You should learn from Jeffrey. Look at how interesting he is. He even took Winnie to drink milk tea.
Aaron snorted. It's just milk tea. I can open a global chain of milk tea for you at any time. Besides, I won't take you to drink something as cheap as milk tea. I can take you to drink wine.
Who cares about drinking wine with you? As expected of a man over 30 years old. April's temples twitched. Then you can learn how to cook like Jeffrey. Look how much he loves Winnie. Winnie can't even scrape a potato without him finding her tired.
Why should I learn to cook like him? His cooking is better than mine,
Aaron said disapprovingly.
There's no comparison between us. I'm much more perfect than him. Have you forgotten? Even you said that my cooking skills are perfect. I said that I would help you. but you always said that you wouldn't let me get close to you. Could she take back what she had said? April suddenly felt that she might have spoiled him too much in the past. She knew that his cooking skills were terrible, so she didn't let him get close to her. In the end, she was spoiled like this. Babe, don't be envious of others, Aaron said earnestly. What you're seeing now is only the good side of them. There must be a bad side when two people get along with each other. Many people are envious of us. I didn't buy you milk tea, but I can give you a massage tonight. April thought about it and agreed with him. There was no need to always be envious of others. She had a good life too. However, at night, April regretted it. Aaron, didn't you say that you would give me a massage? Yeah, a massage. I meant a massage. A certain man smirked. April realized that she was too gullible. In the end, she chased Aaron to the sofa. Jeffrey went home a day earlier to get his household registered. Kenneth handed it to him carefully and said, Son, you're going to have a family in the future. In the future, be good to your mother. Don't let her worry about you anymore. When have I ever let her worry about me? Jeffrey asked. Kenneth choked on his words. Indeed, ever since he got back together with Melissa, he realized that the food she cooked was even worse than it was 20 years ago. She was an idiot for cleaning the floor and washing the clothes. After asking her, he found out that Jeffrey was the one who helped her in the past. It was only after Jeffrey went to university that she hired someone to do it. Treat her better. How many years of love have you owed to her? I'm giving you a chance, Jeffrey said and strode out. Melissa looked at his back and sighed. I hope that this bad temper won't be rejected by Winnie. They won't end up getting a divorce. Kenneth was embarrassed. Was this what a mother should say? No, Winnie has a good temper. After they get married, we can officially take Jenny over to live with us. Melissa and he looked at each other and both nodded in satisfaction. On the eve of the day, Winnie attended an event. It ended at 11 o'clock that night. Jeffrey forcefully urged her back to Rosewood City overnight. It was already past 3 o'clock at night. After sleeping for less than 4 hours, they were woken up by Jeffrey. Winnie, let's go and get a certificate today. Let me sleep for a while. I'm so sleepy. Winnie covered her face tightly with the blanket. The Civil Affairs Bureau won't close earlier even if I nap a bit more. Jeffrey looked at her tired appearance and sighed in his heart. Going there later did not mean that it would close earlier. There would definitely be a lot of people. During a day like this, the number of people trying to get a marriage certificate would peak. However, he really could not bear to disturb her. He waited until past 9 o'clock. Peril came in directly and grabbed her daughter. It's already 9 o'clock. Why aren't you going to get your certificate now? You want to go at noon, right? Are you worthy of Jeffrey who got up at 6 o'clock? Winnie's mind was buzzing from the noise. Mom, I didn't get home until 3 o'clock last night. Please understand. I don't understand. Peril shook her head. I see that you usually come back from work at 2 or 3 o'clock and then rush out at 6 or 7 o'clock. Why are you being so pretentious when it comes to getting a marriage certificate? Winnie was extremely depressed. She completely felt that she was no longer her biological daughter. It took Winnie a lot of effort to pull herself together. After she was forced out of the house and just got into the car, Melissa also called. Did you get a marriage certificate? No, I'm just on the way there, Jeffrey said. Why are you still not there at such a late time? No, Winnie only came back from a business trip at 3 o'clock last night. That's so late. Melissa was angry when she heard that. You bastard! She went to bed so late and now you woke her up to get a marriage certificate. Can't you let her sleep a little longer? Why are you in such a hurry to do this in the morning? The Civil Affairs Bureau won't move away anyway. Is there any difference in getting the certificate in the afternoon? You really don't know how to be nice to her. Jeffrey frowned, but Winnie was in a good mood and laughed. She talked on the phone. It's okay, Mom. We're trying to get married earlier so that you guys can stop worrying about us, isn't it? Winnie, you're the best. I will wait for you guys. Melissa's tone was as gentle as a spring breeze. After hanging up, Winnie sighed. Actually, getting married is pretty good. Although my parents aren't on my side, your parents always doted on me. Jeffrey held her hand and rubbed it for a while. He concluded that it was probably because the two of them didn't have a good reputation at home that they ended up like this. After arriving at the Civil Affairs Bureau, the two of them put on their masks. When they entered the hall, they found that there was a long line inside. There were still 18 people in front of them after they took their numbers. I knew there'd be a lot of people today. Jeffrey sighed and pulled Winnie to sit down. If you're sleepy, lean on my shoulder and sleep for a while. Winnie was really sleepy. She did not hesitate to lean on his shoulder, but after leaning on it for a while, she felt that it was too hard. So she decided to lean on his chest directly and found a comfortable seat to sit down on. Jeffrey put one hand on her shoulder blade and lowered his head to play with his phone with the other hand. In the past, he hated queuing up for something in particular. But now, because of her, he seemed to be able to enjoy anything they do together. The two of them were immersed in each other's world. They did not look at others, nor did they talk to the people around them. However, they did not know that although they were wearing masks, their figures were pleasing to the public's eyes. In addition, Jeffrey's long legs, which looked like a model's, were inadvertently captured by the people around them. In less than 10 minutes, a resourceful fan had managed to recognize him. These two seemed to be Winnie and Jeffrey. Winnie was also caught in the same attire last time when she went to the supermarket. Fan B. Indeed, the boy next to her looks like Jeffrey. His figure is about the same, and his heaven-defying long legs are a signature trait for Jeffrey. Fan C. Damn, they just announced their relationship last month and are going to get married this month. Do they have to be so fast? They seem to be younger than me. Fan D. It's most likely them. Last month, they were people who said that their families were eating together. There were also people who often took pictures of the two of them shopping together in the supermarket. At first glance, they seemed to be living together. Fan E. They really are getting married immediately after falling in love. I'm so envious. It did not take too long for that clip to rise to the top of the trending chart. The discussions among the onlookers were very heated. Many people in the Civil Affairs Bureau were whispering as they watched the two of them. But the two of them were completely oblivious. The person who filmed that video did not expect his video to be so popular. So he secretly filmed the two of them again. One moment, he caught Jeffrey looking at Winnie with his head lowered. And the next moment, he saw him kissing her forehead. In short, he was indescribably doting on her. It made the fans sigh with emotion. They could just watch their lovey-dovey actions at home. It was not until Winnie's phone rang that she picked it up in a daze. Tara's voice came through. Are you guys at the Civil Affairs Bureau? Yes. Congratulations, you're going viral again, Tara sighed. Although she was quite happy that her artist was trending on the search engines. Winnie had gone viral too frequently on the search engines recently, so she had a slight headache. Someone took a video saying that both of you are applying for a marriage certificate at the Civil Affairs Bureau. There should be a large group of reporters on their way here now. Winnie was slightly stunned. At this moment, she no longer felt sleepy. She looked around and found that many people were watching them. They probably did not dare to disturb the two of them and were all observing them. "What are you doing?" Jeffrey also noticed and frowned. A girl in her 20s walked over with a pen in her hand and said carefully, "Excuse me, are you Winnie and Jeffrey? You two are a really good match. Can you give me an autograph? I like you guys so much, especially Winnie. I really like listening to your songs." Jeffrey was annoyed to be disturbed, but he was still in a good mood after being praised for being a good match. So he turned to Winnie and said, "Give her an autograph, since she said that we're a good match." Winnie was speechless, but she had always been good-tempered, so she still gave her an autograph. When the people around saw that she had successfully signed, they all crowded over to ask for an autograph. Even the staff of the Civil Affairs Bureau ran over. Looking at the large group of people in front of her, Winnie did not know whether to laugh or cry. "Don't be like this. We're here to apply for our marriage certificate." The staff from the Civil Affairs Bureau said, "Don't worry. If you sign this autograph for me, I'll get it for you directly." "I don't think this is right. This is considered cutting the queue." Winnie had always remembered that as a public figure, she had to pay more attention to her image. It's okay. A woman next to them said with a smile. "You're all so good looking. You don't need to wait in line. You can just get married on the spot." Right. The bystanders at the side quickly echoed. "We'll move the Civil Affairs Bureau here for you. Please get married on the spot." So now, even if she did not want to get married, she had no choice but to. Jeffrey curled his lips and was very satisfied. "In that case, hurry up and sign your autographs." Winnie had no choice but to silently sign her autograph. It did not take too long for the staff from the Civil Affairs Bureau to bring the form over for them to fill out. When she saw Jeffrey's age, she said meaningfully, "Young man, you just passed the legal age for marriage." Jeffrey curled his lips. Yes, he had just celebrated his 22nd birthday in May. When the paperwork was handed over and she was about to sign it, Winnie simultaneously felt a group of people at the side pulling their cell phones to take photos of them. She suddenly felt a huge pressure. Wasn't it just a wedding? Why did it seem like it was a live broadcast? "Winnie, hurry up!" the bystanders urged. Jeffrey was also watching her, yet he actually did not interrupt them. Winnie was secretly amused and lowered her head to sign the papers. A certain social media veteran's live broadcast voice came from the side. "Just now, Winnie signed the papers. Let's warmly congratulate this couple together." Why did she feel like they were at the wedding venue? After receiving the certificate, before she had time to have mixed feelings, warm applause sounded off from the side. "About that. Thank you, everyone. Let's go." Winnie really could not stay any longer. She pulled Jeffrey and fled in panic. But just as they reached the door, they were surrounded by reporters who had rushed over. Jeffrey protected her as they walked into the car. He did not allow them to take photos, but there were too many onlookers. Fortunately, Tara rushed over and gave the reporters wedding candies. Only then did the two of them get into the car smoothly. "Oh my God, why is it so tiring to get a certificate?" Winnie let out a long sigh. "No, I think it's quite good." Jeffrey played with the marriage certificate of the two of them. Then he took a photo and posted it. "From now on, please call me Winnie's hubby." After Winnie saw it, she also posted, "From now on, I'm Mrs. Diaz." Jeffrey looked at it for a while, then turned his head and whispered, "Mrs. Diaz." Winnie pursed her lips and lowered her head to smile, feeling a little embarrassed. "Mrs. Moe, Mrs. Moe." Seeing this, he kept coming over to her and whispered, "Jeffrey, are you done?" Winnie glared at him. "I'm not done." Jeffrey held her hand and said, "Mrs. Diaz, I'll take you somewhere today where there's a famous lake, but it's a bit far. It's a 2-hour drive from here." "Why are we going there?" Winnie thought for a moment. Jeffrey did not answer. On the way, she received a phone call from April. "You two are really high profile for your marriage." Somebody in the family was crazy and envious of them. She had said that they were pretentious, but at the same time, she also felt extremely jealous of them. "I didn't want to," Winnie smiled bitterly. "I don't know how I got recognized, even with a mask on." "Anyway, I wish you all the best." April sincerely wished them the best. "How are you planning to celebrate today?" "I don't know. Jeffrey said he would take me somewhere with a famous lake." "Somewhere?" April was surprised. "What a coincidence. Kiera seems to be going there today." Winnie was slightly surprised. After the call ended, she turned to ask Jeffrey, who was driving, "Are you taking me there because of Ella's affair? Otherwise, it would not be such a coincidence that Kiera was going to be there as well." Jeffrey raised his eyebrows and said, "Congratulations, you got it right. I was going to surprise you, but I didn't expect you to react so quickly." Winnie pressed her temple. She was not familiar with Ella, but this person had been rather uncomfortable in her past life. "Why are you still looking for her? Let bygones be bygones." "There are no bygones." Jeffrey's eyes shot out cold and ruthless light. "It was because of her that we separated from a misunderstanding." "That's right. We have reconciled now. However, who will be responsible for the hardships when you just gave birth and I wasn't around? Who was the one who caused Jenny's early stage of life to not have a father? She was the one who caused all of this. Back then, when I asked the school to expel her, it was already easy on her. To be honest, if she had honestly admitted it back then, at most, I would have taught her a lesson and would have let her go. However, she didn't dare to admit it until the very last moment. This kind of woman is simply rotten to the core. To be honest, if it wasn't for our deep feelings, if it wasn't because of fate, if it wasn't because of the movie that we filmed a year ago, perhaps we would have separated due to a misunderstanding and never been together again. Jenny wouldn't have been able to recognize me as her father." Winnie was at a loss for words. That was indeed the case. When she found out what Ella had done, she was shocked as well. How could such a cute girl act so shamelessly? However, she was already famous and had a bright future ahead of her. She no longer cared about a despicable person like Ella. When Winnie and Jeffrey arrived at a place called Cordelltown, it was already afternoon. Jeffrey took her directly to a shopping mall. The shopping mall sold some first and second tier luxury goods. The two of them found a window seat in a dessert shop on the second floor. From where they sat, they could see all kinds of jewelry shops downstairs. "Why do you want me to sit here?" Winnie asked. "Do you want to eat something first? Don't worry. I'm the director. Of course, I'm going to give you a good show." Jeffrey pulled his lips weirdly. About 20 minutes later, Winnie suddenly saw a man and woman appear downstairs. The man was about 40 years old, but his figure was well maintained. The woman was wearing a trendy pink dress, and her hair was dyed bright and beautiful. She was holding a Burberry bag in her hand, and she was dressed fashionably. "Ella?" Winnie recognized her after a long time. The current Ella had changed a lot from the past. She was much more charming. In the past, she was quite innocent and cute in school, However, as a woman, she was not surprised. Once a student had entered society, they could change their hairstyle, makeup, and clothes. However, the current Ella was really wearing branded from head to toe. Yeah, she's doing very well. Jeffrey's eyes were full of sarcasm. After we got back together, I asked someone to look for her. However, it took a lot of effort. After all, she did not interact with her former classmates anymore. I still found her through her parents. Winnie was shocked. Didn't Kiera say that no one in her family knew? I guess her family lied to her. Jeffrey's lips twitched coldly. She's been living in Cordelltown and hasn't studied. She used to work in a bar and probably had a hard time. Her sister didn't provide for her and her parents were limited with resources. So she found a rich married man for herself. Winnie looked at him silently. Didn't she like you in the past? Do you think the love of a woman who doesn't even have a moral character is worthy of anything? Jeffrey chuckled. What she likes about me is nothing more than my moral character, my appearance, and my halo of glory. I also like those things, Winnie added quietly. Jeffrey turned around and glared at her. I know. Your mother said that you judge everything based on looks. She also said that you would follow pretty-looking uncles home when you were in kindergarten. Winnie coughed lightly and lowered her head to eat the dessert. To be honest, Ella's personality is a little twisted and extreme. Jeffrey snorted and said calmly. When she gave you the photo, she had the mentality that if she couldn't get it, no one else could. Moreover, her family has spoiled her too much. She could get whatever she wanted, and it didn't matter if she did something wrong. She always thought of ways to get money from her family. This kind of person is a scum in society. This could also be seen from the fact that she is together with a married man. You can see that she's wearing branded stuff all over. Anyone with a discerning eye can see that she's a mistress. She doesn't even know how to be shameful. And she even brought her man to appear on the street in front of everyone. Winnie nodded, thinking that this kind of thing was common in society. Everyone was used to it. Downstairs, Ella brought Panton into a jewelry store. The two of them searched inside for a long time when Winnie suddenly saw a middle-aged woman walking in with a group of people. Ella was wearing a big diamond ring that she had just bought and was hugging and kissing Panton. When she saw the woman who came in, her expression changed. She hurriedly hid behind the man. Well, Panton, I've accompanied you for dozens of years and given birth to your children. What about you? After you've become rich, you actually went to look for a mistress. The middle-aged woman was so angry that her eyes turned red. She pointed at Ella and rushed forward. You bitch, I'll beat you to death. Babe, protect me. Ella was so scared that she grabbed Panton's back tightly. Woman, what's wrong with you? Panton grabbed his wife tightly. Look at you now. You're like a crazy woman. Throwing a tantrum at home every now and then. You're like a resentful woman. Who would like that? That's not what you said when I was young. The middle-aged woman wailed loudly. Didn't you just see me as old and decrepit? I didn't want to throw a tantrum either, but you never bothered to care. How can I be in a good mood? Don't you just think that I'm old and decrepit?
Panton, my sister has given her everything for you. How did you treat her? Do you think that my family members are easy to bully? A burly man at the side directly pulled Panton over and gave him a few vicious punches. Don't think you're so great just because you have a little stinky money. Let's see how I'll beat you to death today. Panton was beaten black and blue all of a sudden. The middle-aged woman saw that Ella had no backer anymore, and in addition to being provoked by her husband just now, she grabbed the fruit knife in the shop and slashed it in her face.
You vixen! You're so young, yet you're not doing proper business. But you come here to be a mistress. Aren't you relying on your face? I'll ruin your face and let's see who would want you in the future. Ella screamed and ran away, but she was no match for the middle-aged woman with a strong body. She dodged left and right, but was still slashed several times by her knife. Her originally beautiful face was bleeding all of a sudden, and it looked terrible. Winnie, who was sitting on the chair, frowned and stood up. Jeffrey, this? Since you want to be a mistress, you have to anticipate the consequences. Jeffrey crossed his arms without changing his expression. I only sent the photos of the two of them together to his wife. Panton's wife is famous for being hot-tempered and impulsive. I know it's extreme, but what she does is her business. No one can control her. Winnie looked down at Ella, who was screaming in pain, and she felt slightly stifled. It wasn't that she sympathized with her, but she just felt that it was quite a pity. She was originally a pretty girl with delicate features. If Ella had peacefully studied and joined the entertainment industry through a proper channel, she might have been able to make a name for herself. At this moment, a few security guards from the shopping mall rushed over to separate this group of people. Panton, who was beaten senseless, saw Ella, whose face was covered in blood, and was so scared that he sat on the ground. Panton! Hurry up and help me get revenge! I'm in so much pain! Ella cried out to him for help. You! Don't come over! Panton hurriedly dodged to the side. Ella was startled. She covered her face and cried out in pain. Her mouth was crying out that she was in so much pain, but no one was willing to go forward. Kiera, who had just rushed over, saw this scene and was also quite frightened. She hurriedly called for an ambulance and ran over to help her up. Ella, what happened? Who did this? Sister, my face is ruined! Ruined! Ella grabbed her hand and screamed hysterically. Hurry up and call the police! Arrest all these people! Panton's wife, who was grabbed by the security guard, shouted loudly, A bitch like you who's a mistress deserves it! You are her sister, right? How did your parents raise her? My man is almost old enough to be her father, yet she actually went to seduce a married man. Look at the diamond ring and clothes on her. Look at how much my hubby spent on her. I saved money for him, but he gave all his money to another woman. I should have killed this adulterous couple. Ella cried out. Her face was stained with blood, making her look ferocious and terrifying. It's only right that no one likes an ugly old woman like you. Kiera's brows furrowed tighter and tighter. She glanced at Panton, who was hiding at the side and did not dare to come over. She had a rough idea of what was going on. It's indeed wrong for my sister to be a mistress. We admit that we did not educate her well, but if you hurt her with a knife, you will be held criminally responsible. Kiera took a deep breath. This was the most frustrating case she had seen in her countless battles. We'll proceed with the lawful measures. Sue her to death! Sue her to death! Ella roared like she had gone mad. Let me tell you, my sister is a lawyer. She has never lost a case before. You are dead meat. Kiera looked at her with a complicated look in her eyes. Not long after, the police arrived. Those who should be sent to the hospital were sent there, while those who should be sent to the police station were sent to the police station. On the way back to Rosewood City, Winnie's mood was quite heavy. She did not get her revenge happily, nor did she have any sympathy. It was just a pity. Should I have not brought you here today? After all, today is the day we got our certificate, Jeffrey said when he saw that she was not very happy. It is indeed a little bloody, Winnie said honestly. Did you call Kiera over? Someone has to clean up the mess, Jeffrey said lightly. I think Kiera should know that you're behind this after she calmed down, Winnie sighed. Kiera helped me in winning Maddie's lawsuit last time. She's done a lot of good deeds. It will be difficult for her to be caught in the middle. After all, Ella is her biological sister. If it weren't for Kiera, we wouldn't have reconciled with each other. I didn't ask her sister to be a mistress, Jeffrey said calmly. Even without me, his wife would have found out about this sooner or later. The truth can't be kept a secret. Besides, just because Kiera had helped me, should I turn a blind eye and let Ella continue living a comfortable life with a rich boss? Winnie's mouth opened slightly, but she could not refute it. In the end, she did not want to think about it anymore. After driving for a while, Winnie suddenly felt that something was wrong. This doesn't seem to be the way back to Rosewood City. Yes. Jeffrey held the steering wheel and nodded lightly. We're on the way to the lake. Winnie turned around and looked at him speechlessly. Didn't you remind me before? I thought that the lake wasn't that far away, and since you're resting tomorrow, might as well go there and eat crab, since we're already here. Jeffrey explained without changing his expression. I've never eaten hairy crabs before. Winnie had no energy to criticize him. It doesn't seem to be the season to eat crabs yet. The crabs aren't succulent enough yet, right? It's a good season to eat crabs in September. It's August now. It's only 1 month away. Jeffrey's face was full of anticipation. I believe they're big crabs, too. It's just that they might be a little more expensive. Money doesn't matter. Winnie could only let him be. Crabs. Jeffrey directly ordered 10 of the most succulent female crabs and then boiled a pot of soup. Winnie could not bear it any longer and posted on her page. Wedding night. I thought it was a romantic candlelight dinner. In the end, I drove all the way to a lake to accompany the glutton to eat hairy crabs. I'm so mad now. When she posted it, she also attached a picture of Jeffrey eating crabs. The onlookers who had just watched them get their certificates in the morning came over to discuss it again. Fan 1. Wow, so the aloof director is a glutton. Oh my God, I can't tell. The way he eats crabs is so adorable. Fan 2. Ah, I love eating crabs too. Winnie's so happy. I'm a fan of the director's affectionate circle. He's so cute. He's so handsome even when he eats crabs. Fan 3. I don't like eating crabs, but seeing him eating crabs, I realized that I fell in love with him and eating crabs. In less than a minute, there were more than 10,000 comments. The more Winnie read, the more speechless she became. Could it be that the current fans could not see that she was complaining? Was Jeffrey eating crabs cute? She raised her head and looked at a certain man eating crab paste opposite her. His jet black eyes were seriously staring at the crab paste in his hand. When he ate it, his face was full of satisfaction. In the end, he sucked the crab paste on his finger with a longing look. Well, although a man should not do this, his face was too handsome and young. He looked really cute. What are you looking at? Jeffrey raised his head and noticed her gaze. He seemed to realize that his previous action was quite embarrassing in front of his woman. However, the hairy crabs here were too delicious. He could not control himself. Eat more. Winnie pushed the crab in front of her over. She was not very interested in such things. Jeffrey coughed lightly and explained. Don't misunderstand. My mother taught me not to waste since I was young. There was still some crab paste on my finger just now.
Winnie laughed in her heart. She had eaten with his mother a few days ago. When she left, she had wasted quite a lot of food. Winnie wanted to pack those up, but his mother said that only through wasting willingly one could earn more money. However, she did not expose him. As a man, there was nothing wrong with being a little cute. Your mother taught you well. Winnie nodded seriously. I think your habit's quite good. I like it very much.
Really?
Jeffrey heaved a sigh of relief. In fact, he had a problem with sucking his finger when he ate something he liked. However, he was afraid that Winnie would think it was too unhygienic, so he had been controlling himself. He might have been too forgetful just now. Well, hurry up and eat, Winnie added. Your sister also likes to suck her fingers when she eats fish, as expected of a family. Just as she was thinking about the devil sent her a message. Winnie, have you guys gone to the lake? Bring me a few fresh crabs as well. They look very succulent. They were indeed the glutton siblings. No wonder Jenny had been so gluttonous since young. After spending some time at the lakefront hotel, Rosewood City, within a few days, she was back at work. She was in a good condition. She wore a big diamond ring publicly on her finger. Wherever she went, she was in high spirits. The sweetness of a newlywed could not be hidden between her brows. When she received a call from Kiera for an appointment, Winnie thought about it and arranged to meet her at the company coffee shop on Sunday. It just so happened that she had to go back to the company for a meeting with the team on Sunday. When she saw Kiera again, she looked a little haggard. Unlike every time she saw her, she usually dressed like a working professional. She was only wearing an ordinary t-shirt and jeans. She was like a fighter who had taken off her armor, revealing her most vulnerable side. I'm here to ask if there are any traces of you behind Ella's matter. Kiera went straight to the point, her gaze sharp. That day, I suddenly received a message saying that Ella was in Cordelltown. That text even told me her exact location. I had a bad premonition at the time, but it was still too late when I arrived there. Coincidentally, I saw your post later. You went to the lake that day and were not far from the town. The person who gave me the message was Jeffrey, right? Winnie nodded and admitted honestly. We were upstairs that day. Kiera clenched her fist and stood up abruptly. Her beautiful face was filled with anger. Winnie, I know that Ella ruined your relationship. She shouldn't have taken advantage of Jeffrey's drunkenness. She was wrong. So she was publicly dismissed by the school and couldn't go to university anymore. I think she deserved it. I also feel sorry for you. So I took the initiative to become your lawyer. All of your cases in the past half a year. No matter if it's big or small, I personally helped you settle it. I also wanted to atone for her sins, but she shouldn't have. That's right. She shouldn't have been a mistress. But now her entire face is ruined, and the cut is too deep. Even if the doctor performs cosmetic surgery, it's impossible for her to recover completely. Her face is ruined. And she's acting like she's going crazy every day in the hospital. She's mentally ill now. Winnie could understand why she was angry. If she was in her shoes, she might have been angry as well. Kiera, you're so smart. I also knew that you'll come to us sooner or later. I really didn't know about Jeffrey's scheme. I only found out at the last moment. But you might not understand that your sister did more than just the bad things you know. Kiera was slightly stunned. Back then, your sister didn't have sex with Jeffrey at all, Winnie explained slowly. That night, I slept with Jeffrey. And then I ran away. Your sister saw that and sneaked into the room. She then took off her clothes and made Jeffrey think that she had slept with him.
After that incident, she used all kinds of excuses to pester him. The most despicable thing she did was send me the photos deliberately after learning that I was dating Jeffrey. Kiera was shocked. She had always thought that Jeffrey and Ella had at least slept together. How many things had this sister of hers done that she did not know? In the past, Ella had confidently said in front of her that she had given her virginity to Jeffrey, making it sound as if everything she said was the truth. Was it because she was too good at acting? Or was it because Ella had told too many lies and could no longer distinguish between what was real and what was fake? Winnie could tell that she really did not know, so she continued. When we separated, I was already pregnant. Kiera's heart sank. She took a sip of the coffee in front of her, slightly at a loss. The night that Ella sent the photo to me was Christmas. I was just about to muster up the courage to tell Jeffrey the good news. But in the end, when the show ended, we broke up. And we even broke up with disgust and hatred towards each other. Winnie smiled bitterly. What do you say? Is your sister despicable? She had tried to test the water with Jeffrey again and again. She knew that I didn't tell him about our first time, so she tampered with this matter. What kind of mentality does she have? Jeffrey told her clearly so many times. He did not touch her, nor did he promise her anything. Yet, she had the evil intention of destroying the relationship between the two of us by any means possible. I thought Jeffrey had betrayed me, and Jeffrey thought I was a fickle woman. That child. Kiera tightened her grip on her coffee cup. Regardless, I gave birth to her. When I found out that I was pregnant, I originally hoped that we would become a happy family of 3. However, it only turned out that I had to bear the hardships of pregnancy and labor all by myself. Although Jeffrey and I are very happy now, there are some things that we will never forget. When I needed him the most, he wasn't there. He wasn't a part of the entire process of development of the child from an embryo until she was almost 1 year old. If it wasn't for the time when you accidentally told me on the phone that Ella and Jeffrey had slept together while they were drunk, I wouldn't have suspected her, and this unpleasant knot would forever remain between the two of us. Perhaps we wouldn't have made it today. Winnie's words were simple but powerful. Jeffrey hated her in his heart. If it was just what you thought it was, he wouldn't have bothered about it. However, Ella never realized her mistake. She ran away because she felt guilty. To be honest, if she could walk the right path, even if Jeffrey had found her, he would at most teach her a lesson. However, she became a homewrecker again. She didn't even have a basic moral bottom line. Kiera finished the entire cup of coffee in one gulp. There was an indescribable bitterness on her tongue. She was also embarrassed. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have come here today. After a long while, she said with a hoarse voice. Jeffrey didn't ask the other party to hurt her face. They did it out of hatred and anger. The fuse was in Ella's hands. Winnie sighed softly. We aren't unreasonable people. We can choose to forgive those who know their mistakes and sincerely apologize. But I'm also very sorry for those who will never repent. Ella brought this all on herself. But as a parent and a sister, we didn't guide her well. So, it's difficult for us to be excused from the blame too. I'm very sorry, but thank you for telling me the truth. Goodbye. Kiera took her bag from the sofa and turned to leave. This was the first time that Winnie saw this female warrior leaving in such a dejected manner. Winnie stood up and walked out of the coffee room, walking towards Tara. I met Kiera just now. Was she looking for you or something? I have some issues with her sister, Winnie answered honestly. Tara furrowed her long, thin brows. You mean that Ella? The one who was the mistress? We live in an internet society today. Her sister was beaten up as a mistress. At that time, there were even videos taken at the scene. Now it's spreading like wildfire. Tara sighed. How could such an outstanding person like Kiera have such a sister? She's really unlucky. It's not easy for her to be caught up in the middle. Winnie looked puzzled. Winnie was still confused. You still don't know, right? Tara explained. Nowadays, many people on the internet are scolding Ella for what she deserves. There are even people who say that if this had happened to them, they would have splashed her with acid. The profile of the person Ella cheated with was also pulled out. His name is Panton. He's quite capable. He has a technology-listed company and is considered to be very rich, but it is said that he relied on the support of his in-laws when he was young. His wife followed him during his most difficult times. She gave up her job for him and focused on raising the children at home. She knew that it wasn't easy for her hubby to earn money and was frugal. She was reluctant to spend or splurge on anything. In the end, she didn't expect her hubby to cheat on her. Winnie sighed. It's not surprising. Nowadays, there are many men who abandon their wives who have been through tough times with them after they've become rich. That's why women must have their own careers. In addition, they must dress up frequently. They can't bear to spend their husband's money. It would eventually be spent on the other woman. Tara agreed. That's true. However, what Panton's wife can't accept the most is that he spends millions on Ella every month. They've only been together for half a year, and he has bought her a luxury car worth millions. He even bought her a house. She also spends excessively on jewelry and cosmetics casually. It's said that she had spent hundreds of millions. His wife had accompanied him for 20 years, and her monthly expenditure is only around $2,000. Who can stand it? Winnie was speechless. Ella is such a spendthrift. In the past, when she was studying at our school, she wasn't so materialistic. Being materialistic is addictive, Tara said disdainfully. But as Ella's older sister, her own sister's face was disfigured and the matter was blown up. Her reputation was ruined and it was impossible for her to get married. Although she deserved it, she still has to bite the bullet in court. Winnie nodded. Even if Kiera didn't want to fight, her parents wouldn't agree. No matter what, Ella is still their daughter. But the people outside wouldn't understand it that way, Kiera said sympathetically. Now everyone is saying that since Kiera is defending her little sister, she doesn't have correct moral values. With a sister like this, she definitely isn't a good lawyer. It wasn't easy for Kiera to accumulate a good reputation. And now it's all ruined by her sister? I even persuaded her to not fight this lawsuit privately. Winnie was slightly startled. No wonder Kiera looked so weak and tired when she left. If I were Kiera, I would also fight. Legally speaking, being a mistress is not a crime, but hurting someone is a crime. Yes, Kiera will definitely win this case, but her reputation in the industry will be tarnished. Tara shook her head regretfully. She has won many cases, and in the past 2 years, she has become even more famous. There are many people in the industry who don't like her. In fact, this is just an ordinary case of a mistress. There are many people who have filed cases for a mistress, but this case has become so big because it's her younger sister. Winnie's mood was very heavy when she heard this. No matter what, Kiera was a good person. She should not become an immoral person in the eyes of others. At night, after Winnie returned home, she took the opportunity to talk about this matter with Jeffrey while he was cooking. I feel that Kiera is quite pitiful. I looked at the comments online and many people are scolding her now. You mean the disfigurement of Ella? Jeffrey raised his head and pinched Jenny's little face in her arms. Jenny didn't understand, so she stuck her head out and peeked into the pot. You know that it has gone viral? Yeah, Jeffrey nodded. When I found out, it had gone viral. It was pointless to stop it. But now Richard and the others have already informed the industry and asked them to find a few reporters to guide the direction of the public sentiment. Winnie only heaved a sigh of relief when she heard what he said. No matter what, we don't wish for Kiera's good reputation as a lawyer to be destroyed in an instant. We all know in our hearts whether she's a good lawyer or not. Jeffrey nodded and patted her head. Don't let your imagination run wild. If you have so much time, you might as well think about the renovation of our house. Whatever I want to think about, you will be there anyway. Winnie smiled sweetly. Jeffrey looked at her and sighed. He shook his head. Who said that dating an older girl means that you can be taken care of? You're an exception. Winnie stuck out her tongue. She was slightly looking forward to the wedding in December. In winter, Winnie's last concert tour ended. After a whole year of traveling, she had drawn a perfect conclusion for herself at the end of the year. For the next 2 years, she would focus on producing new albums and brand new music. Now she has completely established a foothold in the music industry. That night, she took a plane to Nassau to participate in this year's Golden Song Awards ceremony. Tara had already received the news that she would be the Female Singer of the Year award. When she arrived at the Nassau airport, she sent a video to Jeffrey. What are you doing? Jeffrey used his phone to record the surroundings. He was at Melissa's villa. Beside him, Jenny and Little Apple were playing with their wedding certificate. Don't talk nonsense. Be careful not to lose it. I won't be able to get married. Jeffrey quickly pulled the two little rascals back to his side. Winnie could not help but laugh. Jeffrey, it's been hard on you. After the wedding, I'll accompany you on our honeymoon. Of course. Jeffrey could not wait for the two of them to go on their honeymoon. He had been looking forward to this day for too long. When the time came, she would not be able to get out of bed for 3 days and 3 nights. However, when he had calmed down and thought about it, it seemed a little impossible. Now that Winnie had completed her tour, her stamina was better than before. He could not help but frown. He had never completely exhausted Winnie before. Why are you unhappy so suddenly? Winnie asked with a smile. No, come back soon. Jeffrey sighed. It's all because of the Golden Song Award. It had to be held on the day before our wedding. So boring. How is it boring? We sang so hard just to win that award, Winnie said happily. Be good. When I come back with the award, I'm going to get on the plane. Bye. Then she added, I love you. After saying that, she saw Bob sitting next to her with an ambiguous smile. Her face instantly turned red. The plane arrived at the Nassau International Airport. Bob went to get her luggage. When he stood in the VIP room and waited, suddenly she saw a familiar figure walking by the corridor. She was stunned for a few seconds before she quickly walked to the door. She saw a woman in a white baseball uniform talking to a handsome man as she walked out. Isn't this Regina? Winnie would never forget her back. Sometimes she would even dream about what happened that night. Winnie, do you know her? Behind her, Bob patted her back. She looks familiar. Winnie retracted her absent-minded gaze. Bob followed her gaze and looked at that woman. In his memory, he had never seen such a person with Winnie before. What's wrong? You don't look too well all of a sudden. I'm too tired. I want to get back to the hotel early to rest. Winnie composed herself. On the way back to the hotel, she was wondering why Regina would appear in Nassau at this time of the day. It seemed like Ben would be attending the award ceremony as well. She wondered if they would bump into each other. She took out her phone and hesitated whether she should send Ben a text message. But after some thought, she realized that Ben might go to Regina if he was provoked. Although she was not sure of Ben's current strength, Regina was also not someone to be trifled with. This was obvious from the fact that she had brought along a few bodyguards at the airport just now. After checking into the hotel,
She rested for a while before heading into the venue to rehearse. She was going to sing a song at the awards ceremony tonight. After the rehearsal, Karna, who had worked with her on The World's Top Singer in the past, came over to look for her. Winnie, let's go to the casino together. I'm sure we'll meet a lot of familiar faces at the casino today. Nassau was a small place, and it was rare to see so many celebrities gathering. Many celebrities had come early in the morning, so it was common for them to go to the casino to play a few rounds out of boredom. But I don't know how to play, Winnie said with a smile. Right now, she just wanted to go back to the hotel to rest. But it was rude to refuse an invitation from someone else. It's okay. Anyway, you have a hubby to support you now. And Director Jeffrey is so good at making money. Why are you so frugal? You have to play what you have to. Karna pulled her out. The casino was not far from here. The security of such a large place was very good. Even if a celebrity came in, no one dared to disturb them, not even to take photos. When Winnie and Karna went in, they ran into Dean, who came over to greet them. Hi, Winnie. It's been a long time since we last met. You look even more beautiful after getting married. Karna laughed. Winnie is much younger than you, and she's already married. How about you? When do you plan to get married? I don't have a partner. Dean shrugged. You girls just come here to have some light fun. Don't spend too much money on this. Like the one who came before. He pointed at the right corner of his chin. That woman brought her lover to play for an hour and lost more than $3 million. However, Miss House casinos are not lacking in rich people, right? Winnie followed his line of sight and looked over. It was Regina, whom she had just seen this afternoon. Sitting beside her was the handsome man who she had seen earlier. The two of them were holding hands and playing cards. They had lost so much money and were still chatting and laughing. That woman, you know her? Karna's eyes were sharp as she could immediately tell. Her entire face has been injected with a lot of things. Isn't that Ben? Ben's gone over. Should we go and take a look? She regretted it immediately after saying that. After all, Ben was Winnie's ex-boyfriend. Let's go and take a look. Who would have thought that Winnie would actually agree? They walked over. Ben and Regina sat opposite each other, and the casino staff in the middle were dealing cards. Regina grabbed the cards and smiled. It's been a long time. Ben, how are you? Oh, Winnie, right? You're here too. Winnie frowned in disgust. It had only been a year since they last met, and Regina's face seemed to have changed again. Her facial features were perfect, but when combined together, they made her feel uncomfortable. She even felt disgusted when she spoke to her. Winnie, you two know each other? Dean was surprised. We're more than acquaintances. Regina toyed with the cards in her hand. We've been friends for many years. Winnie frowned, and her eyes were filled with disgust. Stop nagging. Let's play one round. Ben interrupted coldly. He lowered his head and picked up a few cards on the table. The casino staff looked at the two of them and quickly dealt the cards to them. 3 minutes later, Regina's male companion put down the last card and smiled arrogantly at Ben. I'm sorry. I won. My dear, you're amazing. Regina kissed her male companion. She then said to Ben, Your luck is still as bad as before. And it's useless. No wonder your girlfriend ended up with another man who is the most promising young director. Compared to him, you're too inferior. Ben clenched the card in his hand tightly. The veins on the back of his hand bulged. Karna, who was standing at the side, had a bad temper. She could not stand a man like Ben being humiliated by a fake woman. Hey, plastic surgery girl, watch your mouth. This is our territory. Don't be arrogant here. It's normal for men and women to be on and off. And don't make it sound so bad. Regina's expression changed when she heard her say the words plastic surgery girl. You're really a bunch of shallow women. Plastic surgery is a very normal thing now. You people, on the contrary, even need to learn plastic surgery techniques from us. What right do you have to criticize me? Aren't all the female celebrities doing the same? Winnie smiled slightly. We call it fine-tuning here. Yours is called face changing. The surrounding onlookers burst out laughing. Dean laughed especially loud. Winnie, your mouth is really vicious. Regina smiled sinisterly. The male companion beside her stood up and held her hand. My dear, don't bother with this bunch of artists and lower your class. Let's go. All right. Regina nodded. When she walked past Winnie, she spoke in a voice that only the two of them could hear. Winnie, keep your mouth shut in the future. Don't forget what I have in my hands. Winnie's expression changed. Regina smiled with satisfaction and left with her male companion. Winnie, what did this woman say? Karna was really fed up with Regina's face. Nothing. Winnie glanced at Ben worriedly. She saw him suddenly stand up and walk to the side quietly. I'll look for you guys later. Winnie greeted Karna and the rest before hurriedly chasing after Ben. Ben, wait a moment. The figure in front of them paused for more than 10 seconds before turning around. Ben revealed a faint smile. Winnie, congratulations. Your wedding is happening 2 days later, right? I really want to personally congratulate you, but I don't think Jeffrey will welcome me. Ben, I've said it before. As long as you move on, you'll be happy too, Winnie said sincerely. I hope you can calm down. Now that you've made yourself known in the film and television industry, you can release your records as you wish. Cherish your current life. A woman like Regina will have her own retribution. Don't worry, I won't be impulsive. Thank you for your concern. Ben's eyes flashed with a hint of sadness. The woman he loved the most was finally going to wear a white veil and marry another man. Are we friends? We've been classmates for many years. Winnie's eyes were full of sincerity. Ben was stunned. You're right. After Ben left, Karna walked over and patted her on the shoulder. Winnie, please don't let Jeffrey down. Such a cute and gluttonous hubby like him is hard to find nowadays. Winnie's mood was originally quite heavy, but after hearing what she said, she smiled. How is he cute? How is he not cute? The way he eats crabs? Karna clicked her tongue and said, He's so cute. He's different from the rest. Winnie sweated. Ever since she posted that photo on the day she obtained the certificate, everyone knew that Jeffrey was a glutton. After all, he was cold and aloof, but he liked to eat. This action was deeply loved by many women. After that, the photos of Jeffrey drinking milk tea, drinking yogurt, waiting in line to buy ice cream, or eating steak were all posted on the internet. There was once when he went to Kobe, Japan for a photo shoot. In the end, the netizens took pictures of him eating Kobe beef alone at night. The netizens commented that he was so pitiful, so they tagged her crazily and questioned why she had to control him so tightly that he did not even have any friends. It made her speechless. When had she ever controlled him? It was his own bad character that deprived him of friendships. What has it to do with her? You have to be careful. Director Jeffrey has quite a lot of female fans now, and I am part of them, Karna said with a smile. Winnie could only smile bitterly. Karna was over 40 years old, so her hubby already had auntie fans.
The next day, Winnie slept till 10 o'clock before Bob knocked on the door to wake her up. Still sleeping? What time is it? Have you memorized the award acceptance lines and award presentation lines? Don't worry, it won't be a problem. Winnie curled up under the blanket and yawned. Let me sleep a little longer. I'm getting married tomorrow, so I have to get up early in the morning to put on my makeup. I have to rush to Finland for my honeymoon the day after tomorrow. I'll definitely be exhausted. Bob nodded in realization and gave a faint smile. That makes sense. Mr. Jeffrey won't let you get out of bed when it's time for your honeymoon. Winnie blushed and was a little embarrassed. It seemed like that would be the case, but she still tried to defend herself. Don't talk nonsense. We're not that kind of people. Then may I ask what kind of people you guys are? Bob rolled his eyes. Every time he comes to visit you, you guys will roll into bed until you're late for work. I can only wait outside quietly. All right, stop talking. Winnie was too embarrassed to continue listening. I'm going to get up. Hurry up. I've already discussed it with the organizers. Since you're getting married tomorrow, the plane leaves at 10 p.m. I want you to leave as soon as possible after the award ceremony, Bob said. Mr. Jeffrey is waiting for you at home. Winnie stuck out her tongue. There's plenty of time to accompany him later. Why are you in such a hurry? I'm not going to run away. At 3 p.m, when the makeup artist was putting on Winnie's makeup, Carlos suddenly knocked on the door and rushed in. Winnie, have you seen Ben? Bob frowned and stood up immediately. Hey, what's wrong with you? Why are you looking for Winnie when Ben is missing? She has nothing to do with him anymore. I'm really in a hurry. Carlo glared at Bob. He's going on stage tonight. I've only seen him in the casino yesterday. Winnie was silent for a while before she turned to Bob and the makeup artist. Can you guys excuse us for a moment? Winnie! Bob stomped his feet. She couldn't possibly still have feelings for Ben, right? Don't think too much. Winnie knew what he was thinking and scolded him in a low voice. I'm just having a private chat with Mr. Carlo. It's not an affair. Take it easy. Bob sighed and turned around to leave. We saw Regina at the casino yesterday, Winnie said. Carlo's body trembled. I didn't hear Ben say that. Winnie was slightly taken aback, and a bad premonition arose in her heart. Shit! Ben couldn't have gone to find trouble with her alone, right? Carlo revealed a rare look of panic. Has he gone mad? Why must he ruin himself for this woman? You better go find him first. Winnie did not want to see Ben go to jail. After all, he was a victim. If he ended up like this, it would be too tragic. I think Regina has bodyguards with her. It shouldn't be so easy to kill her. Ben shouldn't be an impulsive person. He didn't even pick up his phone. How am I supposed to look for him? Carlo smiled bitterly. I think I should look for Regina's whereabouts first. I don't think I can attend the award ceremony tonight. I don't even know how to explain it to the organizers. Winnie thought about it for a while and said in a deep voice, Masao is actually not a big place, but the management here is very strict. If Ben really wants to take revenge, he probably won't dare to do it on the surface. It's very likely that... On the water! Carlo interrupted her. Winnie nodded solemnly. I'll go ask Regina if she went out to sea, Carlo said, and left. When he reached the door, he thought for a moment and turned back. Miss Winnie, if Ben kidnapped Regina, I hope that you can come with me to persuade him. Even if I go over now, I can't persuade him. He won't listen to me at all. I have to attend the award ceremony in the afternoon, Winnie subconsciously rejected. Also, I have a wedding tomorrow. What if something happens if I go? It's not like you don't know that Regina is a lunatic. Besides, if things get out of hand, Ben and I will be accomplices. Miss Winnie, think about the time when Ben stood in front of you without hesitation. Carlos smiled bitterly. What he couldn't overcome wasn't what others did to him back then, but what happened in front of you. You were the woman he loved the most in the past, and others had destroyed all the good things that had happened to him. Now he was glorious in the eyes of others, but he didn't even have a shred of self-respect in his heart. That night, he didn't sleep the entire night when you announced your affair with Jeffrey. He said that Regina destroyed the only hope in his heart. That was why he spared no effort to take revenge on Regina. But it was useless. He wanted to destroy himself to take revenge. Winnie's eyebrows twitched violently. The tragic scene that night replayed in Winnie's mind. As long as you try to persuade him, Carlos said. If it's useless, you can come back. It's only 2:00 now. The award ceremony is at 7:30. There's still time. That's easy for you to say, Winnie smiled bitterly. If the reporters manage to capture it, there are reporters everywhere in Macau. Have you forgotten that they managed to capture him and me in the same room? Carlo was silent for a moment before he nodded. All right, since you aren't willing to help, there's nothing I can do. At most, Ben will be sentenced to homicide. He will spend the rest of his life in prison. After he finished speaking, he left. Winnie sat on the chair in a daze until Bob walked in. Winnie, what did you guys talk about? Let me tell you, you must stay away from anyone related to Ben at this time. In the past, when you and Ben were involved in a scandal, you weren't married. But now it's different. You're a married woman. But were they really going to ignore it? Ben's life would be ruined. Ben was wrong, but he should not have ended up like this. But she was not the savior. She still had a husband and a daughter. And tonight, there was her award ceremony. At 3 p.m, Winnie called Ben into the bathroom. After more than 30 seconds, when she was about to give up, Ben's voice suddenly came from the phone. Winnie? The sound of wind could be heard from the phone. Winnie instantly knew that she had guessed correctly. She took a deep breath to calm herself down. Ben? Where have you been? There will be an award ceremony tonight. Winnie, I might not be able to see you win the Best Female Singer award. Ben's tone was so gentle that it was almost ethereal. But I think you'll definitely shine tonight. Ben, don't joke around. Winnie's face was ashen. Come back. It's not worth it for Regina. Winnie, don't worry. This time I'll definitely make her life a living hell. I've already made preparations for today a few months ago. Regina will definitely die today. Ben chuckled. Since I can't send her to prison, I can only do it myself. Ben, listen to me. Don't say that. Live a good life. Jeffrey is very good. Really very good. Actually, that was the life I wanted to give you a long time ago. But in the end, I couldn't give it to you. Ben choked on his words. Goodbye. Ben! All she heard was the sound of the phone hanging up. She stared at her phone and the conversation lasted less than a minute. The images of the first time she saw Ben flashed across her mind. Winnie put away her phone, changed into her casual clothes, and rushed out. Bob was shocked to see her like that. Winnie, why did you... Bob? Winnie interrupted him. I have to go out. I must go out. Bob was taken aback by her solemn expression. Where are you going? I'll go with you. I'll go alone. Wait for me at the hotel. I'll be back as soon as possible. Winnie took her hat and mask and left. She contacted Carlo as she walked. Ben picked up my call just now. He's at sea. I've already found out that Regina is out fishing with her lover. She's accompanied by 4 bodyguards, Carlo said. I'm guessing that Ben's following them. Planning to bring some people out, and I'm currently looking for a yacht. I'll go with you, Winnie said. Carlo was slightly startled. You? Although I feel that I've been implicated in the past, you're right. Ben is indeed standing in front of me. He's a victim. If his life is ruined, I'll feel guilty. I'll try my best now. At least I'll be able to face you in the future, Winnie answered frankly. Thank you. Carlo sounded grateful. After getting the address, she rushed to the pier. On the way, she gave Jeffrey a call. Why? Do you miss me now? Jeffrey teased. Jeffrey, I miss you, Winnie panted as she ran. I have something to do. I don't know what the consequences will be, but I want to tell you that I only love you. In the hotel of Rosewood City, Jeffrey, who was staring at the wedding company's decorated auditorium, did not feel happy at all. On the contrary, his heart sank subconsciously. Winnie, why did you suddenly say such things to me? What do you want to do? I forbid you to go. I think I might feel guilty if I don't go. Winnie took a deep breath. Don't worry, nothing will happen to me. I'm just afraid of some bad rumors. I'm afraid that you won't believe me, so I want to tell you in advance that I love you. Whose scandal? What are you talking about? Jeffrey was about to go crazy. Don't give me any trouble at this critical moment. If I don't come back in 2 hours, you can call the police, Winnie said helplessly. But you can't call the police now. Jeffrey's heart seemed to be gripped tightly by someone. He was in an unspeakable panic. Winnie, what exactly happened? You can tell me. There's nothing that can be solved. If it's my own matter, I don't mind, but the problem isn't that. Seeing that the pier was in front of her, Winnie said, I'll hang up first. Who is it? Tell me, Jeffrey said, word by word. I'm sorry, Jeffrey. I promised someone, Winnie smiled bitterly and said, I have something to do here. Goodbye. After saying that, she made up her mind and hung up. Jeffrey looked at the phone that had been hung up on. He called again, but no one picked up. He kicked the dining chair in front of him in frustration. Jeffrey, what's wrong? Are you okay? April walked over with concern. You've always been close to Winnie. Have you heard anything about her? Jeffrey dragged her to him. She called me just now. It was weird. She said that if she didn't come back in 2 hours, I should call the police. Hearing his words, April felt nervous. Winnie's never been a troublemaker. Did she offend someone? Besides, isn't she going to attend the award ceremony tonight? Is she not going to accept the award? Jeffrey knew that Winnie valued that award very much. Otherwise, she wouldn't have gone to the ceremony the day before their wedding. Hearing April's words, he couldn't help but call Bob. You're Winnie's assistant. Where's Winnie? She called me just now. She sounded weird. Winnie changed her clothes and left in a hurry. I told her that I wanted to go with her, but she wouldn't let me. How can you be her assistant? Jeffrey was furious. She's a public figure. Are you afraid that something will happen to her? She'll always bring you along on business trips. You should be able to sense something, right? Did anything unusual happen before she left? Did you meet anyone? Bob hesitated. He said that Carlo came to look for her. He didn't know if Jeffrey would be furious. He sincerely hoped that this wedding could go on. Hurry up and tell me what you have to say. Winnie might be in danger. Jeffrey gnashed his teeth and said, No way. Bob was shocked. Ben's assistant came in here in a hurry to ask Winnie where Ben was. After that, Winnie asked me to go out. I don't know what she said to Carlo, but after Carlo left, she became distracted. It's Ben again? Jeffrey's heart turned cold when he heard that. Why did he always hear about her and Ben when he was filled with hope? You don't misunderstand. Winnie loves you, Bob hurriedly said. She keeps a distance from Ben every time. Except for this time, something must have happened. Do you think she's in such a state when she has your child and even publicly dated you? Jeffrey was stunned. He suddenly recalled Winnie's call and his heart softened. Yes, something must have happened to Winnie. Perhaps it was just like that night. Bob, think about it carefully. Other than Carlo, did Winnie meet with anyone that made her distracted? Jeffrey immediately asked in a deep voice. Bob scratched his head and was thinking hard. Since Winnie had just arrived in Massau the day before, few things could happen. When I went to get my luggage at the airport, I saw her staring at a person's back, and she didn't look well. I don't know. Does this count? He said hesitantly. Have you ever seen Winnie's expression like this before? Jeffrey asked. No, Bob continued. I asked her if she met someone she knew. She said that she did see someone who looked familiar, but she didn't talk much on the way to the hotel. She seemed to have a lot on her mind. Do you know who she saw? Jeffrey asked anxiously. A man and a woman with a few bodyguards. I only saw their backs, but I felt the man was the woman's lover, Bob said. Later, Winnie went to rehearse and then went to the casino with Karna. I didn't go with Winnie. She seemed to have something on her mind after she came back. All right, go and ask Karna what happened at the casino. I'll take the earliest flight, Jeffrey said to him. Bob was startled. But you're getting married tomorrow. How can I get married if something happens to the bride? Jeffrey gnashed his teeth. He had a feeling that Winnie was hiding something from him, and he must find out.